Alright, this is EA UFC3. This is my Ultimate Team mode, online PvP. Just decided to start recording my progress here. I've made a lot of personal gains and a lot of adjustments, and it seems to be working really well. I'll try to explain as much as I can, but there's a lot of details, so I'm not going to go over everything. But here you can see I'm in current division leaderboards. I'm in Division 6. Funny thing is, since I come back to the game, this is the furthest I've ever gone. I've always been stuck at the lower half of Division 6. The highest, before recently was like maybe middle of Division 6. So I'm creeping, I'm like a good 70, maybe 80% there, close to moving up to the next division, which is Division 7. I don't know how many divisions there are in this game. I just know that in Division 6 there's a lot of killers. The way it works is, you play, you fight other players. If you win, you get points, and that's what pushes you up. However, if you lose, it, deducts points, and so you can kind of be seesawing, and progression's not easy. We gotta win, and push that grind. And this, like I said, this is the furthest I've ever gone. So the way the progression works on top of that is, if you look on the bottom, you'll see that there's some numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a star, and then there's the octagon with the UFC symbol. So that's how the progression system works in this mode online. Essentially what you do is you start from the bottom, you're trying to become the champ. You have to win a series of fights in a row in order to contend with the champion, and at which point, if you beat the champion, you become the champion. So pretty much what that means is you have to win 4 in a row, and once you win 4 in a row, you will be highlighted up to that star. Once you get your 4th in a row, your 5th fight will be matched with the current champion. If you beat the champion, boom, you officially unlock the Octagon UFC. Now, the cool mechanic with that is, if you're a champion already and you're fighting other people, you have to realize that your opponents have literally beaten 4 people in a row to get the opportunity to fight you, whoop your ass, and take your belt. That's what they're trying to do. So the competition is extreme. It's pretty awesome. There's no pushovers here in Division 6. Here's my fight history. This is the best I've ever played since I played, to be quite honest. I've won my last 10 fights. They're all title defenses, so I was defending my belt against a bunch of killers. Each and every one of these fights were competitive, man. That's the cool part about it. That's why I was motivated to record things, because these fights are just so sick. So that's a little bit about my current standing with the divisions, leaderboards, all that. My record right now is 656 wins, 123 losses. That might seem like a lot, but trust me, there's players out there that are in the thousands already. Like I said, I played this game on and off since it's come out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just check out my build, my fighter real quick. So here's my fighter. He's my personal creation. I've been lucky to pretty much pull the item that allows me to customize appearance, not just moves but appearance as well. So let's go and look at the moves here. Alright, so the beauty about my current build here, and what I really want to showcase, is that you do not have to have super OP stats. Because I've built characters with super OP stats before, and even then I didn't have as much success as I've had now, ironically. So if you look on the top of the screen, you see chemistry is 30. I'm not even quite sure what that is, to be honest. It's not too relevant in the actual gameplay. I think that's just a team mechanic. My striking is at 78, my grappling is at 78, my health is at 78, and my stamina is at 84, so pretty even across the board. I've fought other players that are all in the high 80s, high 90s, and so like I said, depending on how you build your character, you can influence what those numbers look like. To the bottom left here, you see from top to bottom, we have speed, power, footwork, accuracy, switch, blocking, and head movement. My values to the left are out of 100. The way you get these stats, or you can see here, we have what we call item slots. I have 3 arm slots, 3 leg slots. Doesn't really matter what they're called. These slots, you can literally put whatever moves that you've accumulated as you play the game and grinded. They come in the form of like cards. So let's just show, for example, So I have a snap jab equipped because I like to jab. I jab in real life. If I were gonna face an opponent, I would probably jab 85% of the time I was fighting, to be honest. So I'm trying to emulate my style, my comfort zone. But if I wanted to switch it for a kick, for a lead overhand, a Superman punch, I mean, there's tons of moves, tons and tons of moves. So this is where the character building comes into play. But on top of that, there's an RNG element because each move, you can have two of the same exact moves, but they might come with a different amount of stats. So every time I pick a different card, you'll see in the bottom left, my stats change a little bit. So you can build your character however way you want. You can build your character by just simply stacking one attribute, like maybe you want the highest amount of speed and power, so you just knock people out really quick and simple. You can do that if you have the cards for that. But these cards are also unique because the cards are essentially what gives your characters a moveset. So you won't be able to do a head kick, for example, unless you equip a head kick card. So there's a lot of minor factors that play a role into getting stats and moves and all that. What I'm doing with this build is I'm not caring so much about the stats, and I'm going for the moves. So I'm trying to use real life experience into my fight game here. My stand-up style, and the reason why I picked the moves that I picked is I'm trying to emulate I guess you can call more of a Dutch Muay Thai style, kickboxing style. I'm going to be using a lot of boxing to my advantage to dice up my opponent, piece him up, and then I'm also going to mix in just a simple low kick. So this is the only kick I have equipped here. Nothing fancy, no spinning, tornado kicks, none of that. Just simple low kick. Again, I'm going to emulate a Dutch Muay Thai style when I play against opponents. My next screen here is my grappling stats. Nothing too crazy here. I don't have a lot of slots, but essentially I like a lot of transitions. The cards that I've chose here are just to complement my playstyle. So when I'm on the ground, whether I get taken down or I take my opponent down, I want the ability to be able to constantly be moving and to kind of transition. So that's kind of why I picked the cards that I picked. Essentially, my main takedown is going to be my power single leg takedown. I like this move more or less because I like dumping people on their heads. Why not? But it's a good move. It's very versatile. I can push people to the cage and all that. Get a lot of control. I use three main submissions here: my guillotine choke, my kimura, and my anaconda. This is just my personal preference. I feel like these are more defensive submissions mixed in with a little offensive. So even if I get taken down, I have the threat of submitting my opponent. So I want to threaten my opponent. I want them to think twice before they, try to do any funny stuff. Again, my stats on the bottom left, from top to bottom: my throwing, my clinch control, my top game, my bottom game, my takedown defense, submission offense, and submission defense. My top game just happens to be my highest stat just because of the cards I chose. I wasn't necessarily going for that, but that's really awesome to know because if I get in an advantageous position where I'm on top of my opponent, I'm gonna have they're gonna have a hard time shaking me off. So I'm gonna use that to my advantage. I'm taking a risk here by making my takedown not as high. A lot of meta players, they will boost their takedowns to 90, if not 100, so that when they shoot for the takedown, they automatically get it, and they can sit on top of you and just beat you to the ground. I feel like I still get takedowns just fine, even though my stats aren't that high. I just time them and wait for the right opportunity. Here are my physical stats, I guess is what you can call them. My strategy here is simple. I want to put points in my chin because I like to stand and bang, man. I'm a stand-up guy. So this is going to protect me from getting knocked out while I try to do the knocking out. My other stat is really just stamina. There's so many different things. So from the bottom left, you have your ground stamina, your standing stamina, your endurance, your toughness, your heart, your chin, your body, your legs. So again, my simple strategy is just stack on my chin so I don't get knocked out too quick, and give myself stamina on the ground and then on the feet so I can really push the pace and find holes in my opponent's game. Perk slots, these are just bonuses to increase your stats even more. I honestly don't even use them because I'm too lazy to come here every couple matches and change them out, because these perks are limited to a certain amount of uses. So So this is another way you can get extra stats and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it. That's my build there. I'm gonna end it here, and then I'll go ahead and showcase a upcoming fight against a contender, and yeah, let's see how long I keep this streak going. GG.